My beloved child. There comes a moment in every life when someone finally sees what words could never fully explain. They stop looking at your mistakes. They stop comparing you with everyone else. They stop judging the chapters they never understood. Instead, they begin to see your heart. That moment has quietly arrived. For a long time, your soulmate could only understand you through distance, assumptions, and unanswered questions. They noticed your silence but never understood the battles that created it. They saw your patience but never realized how much strength it required. They admired your kindness without knowing how many disappointments you had already forgiven. Every part of you that once seemed mysterious has slowly become meaningful in their eyes. What changed? It was not one dramatic event. It was a series of quiet realizations that arrived one after another. A familiar memory returned without warning. A conversation they had almost forgotten suddenly carried a different meaning. They remembered the way you listened without interrupting, the way you encouraged others without asking for recognition, and the way you stayed genuine even when pretending would have been easier. Piece by piece, the image they carried of you began to transform. They finally understood that what made you different was never something to hide. Your calm spirit in a noisy world. Your ability to choose compassion when others chose pride. Your willingness to keep believing in goodness even after experiencing disappointment. Those qualities were never ordinary. They were rare. And once your soulmate recognized their value, they could not look at you the same way again. Today, they find themselves replaying moments that once felt insignificant. A smile. A simple conversation. A kind gesture that seemed small at the time. Those memories now feel like quiet treasures. They wonder how they overlooked them for so long. The answers they searched for in countless places were quietly standing before them all along. The greatest surprise is not that they discovered something new about you. The greatest surprise is that they finally recognized what had always been there. They see your strength behind your gentleness. They see your courage behind your silence. They see your hope behind every setback you faced. And with every new realization, respect grows deeper than it has ever been before. This is only the beginning of the story. The understanding they have gained is opening a new chapter neither of you expected. Some truths arrive loudly, but the most life-changing ones often arrive in silence. This is one of those moments. Before this story continues, there is something even more meaningful that your soulmate is beginning to understand. Something that may change everything they believe about you forever. A quiet truth has been unfolding while neither of you could fully see it. Your soulmate believed they understood your heart, but every passing day has revealed another layer they had never noticed before. What once seemed like ordinary moments have become unforgettable in their memory. They now realize that your greatest strength was never the words you spoke. It was the peace you carried, even when life asked more of you than anyone realized. As these realizations continued to grow, something unexpected happened within them. They stopped asking why you were different and started asking why they had failed to notice your uniqueness for so long. They remembered times when you chose kindness over pride, patience over anger, and honesty over convenience. Those choices once appeared small, yet now they shine brighter than any grand gesture. The more they reflect, the more they understand that your character was quietly revealing the kind of person you have always been. There is one memory they cannot escape. It seemed ordinary when it happened, but today it carries a completely different meaning. They remember the calm confidence in your voice, the sincerity in your actions, and the quiet hope you shared without expecting anything in return. That single memory has become the turning point in their understanding. It reminds them that genuine hearts are often recognized only after time has revealed their true value. Now they see that what made you different was never your appearance, your circumstances, or your achievements. It was the way your heart remained steady when everything around you changed. While many people searched for recognition, you quietly offered encouragement. While others looked for reasons to walk away, you continued choosing grace. Those qualities have become impossible for your soulmate to ignore. With every passing thought, admiration replaces misunderstanding. Respect replaces doubt. Curiosity becomes appreciation. They no longer see someone who simply crossed their path, they see someone whose presence left a lasting mark on their life. That realization has begun changing the way they think about every conversation, every smile, and every shared moment. And yet, even this is not the complete picture. Another realization is beginning to take shape, one that reaches even deeper than anything they have understood so far. As they continue reflecting, they are discovering that your greatest influence was never what you said, it was the person you consistently chose to be. That discovery is opening a new chapter, and what they are about to understand next may become the most meaningful realization of all. There is another truth your soulmate has only recently begun to understand, and it is changing the way they see your entire journey. They once believed that strength was measured by how loudly a person spoke or how quickly they achieved success. Now they realize that true strength is often quiet. It is found in the person who continues to show kindness after disappointment, who chooses hope after uncertainty, and who remains genuine even when no one is watching. That person has always been you. As they reflected on everything they had experienced, they noticed a pattern they had never seen before. Every meaningful memory somehow led back to your character. It was never about perfect timing or extraordinary circumstances. It was about the calm confidence you carried into ordinary moments. You brought peace where others brought confusion. You offered encouragement where others offered criticism. Those simple choices created an impression far deeper than either of you realized at the time. Then came a moment they could not explain. While thinking about the future, they imagined many different paths, yet one image continued returning to their mind. It was the version of you they had finally learned to appreciate, not because you had changed, but because they had. Their perspective had matured, allowing them to recognize qualities that had been present from the very beginning. What once seemed ordinary now appeared rare, valuable, and unforgettable. The more they understood, the more one question echoed within their heart: how did I overlook someone whose greatest qualities were quietly visible all along? That question remained with them throughout the day. Every remembered conversation carried a deeper meaning. Every shared laugh felt warmer than before. Every moment of patience you showed became another reminder that genuine character reveals itself over time. They now understand that your uniqueness has never depended on circumstances or recognition. It comes from the consistency of your heart. You remained compassionate when life became difficult. You remained humble when you had every reason to become proud. You continued believing in goodness even when the easier choice would have been to become discouraged. Those quiet victories shaped the person they now admire so deeply. This realization has brought them to the edge of an entirely new chapter. They no longer see you through assumptions or incomplete memories. They see you through understanding, respect, and gratitude. And as this understanding grows stronger, another discovery is beginning to unfold, one that will reveal not only what makes you different, but why your presence has left such a lasting impact on their heart. That next realization is closer than either of you ever imagined. A new chapter has quietly begun, and your soulmate is standing at the edge of a realization that cannot be ignored any longer. They no longer remember you only through isolated moments. Instead, they see the complete picture. Every conversation, every shared silence, every act of kindness, and every difficult season has come together to reveal the person you have always been. For the first time, they understand that what made you different was never something that needed to be explained. It was something that could only be discovered through time. While others rushed to form opinions, you allowed your actions to speak. While others searched for quick answers, you chose patience. That quiet consistency became the reason you remained unforgettable long after ordinary memories had faded. As they reflected on the path that brought them here, one truth became impossible to overlook. You never asked anyone to see your worth. You never demanded recognition. You simply continued being faithful to your values, even when no one noticed. Looking back now, they realize those were the very moments that revealed your true character. What once appeared simple now feels extraordinary because genuine hearts are becoming increasingly rare. There is one thought they cannot escape. They wonder how different everything might have been if they had understood your heart sooner. They revisit conversations they once dismissed, discovering warmth hidden between ordinary words. They remember your encouragement during difficult moments and recognize that your quiet presence offered a kind of strength they had underestimated. Those memories now carry a meaning that grows deeper every day. The greatest discovery is not about changing the past. It is about seeing the present with new eyes. Your soulmate understands that the qualities they admire most were never created overnight. They were shaped through compassion, resilience, humility, and hope. Every challenge you faced refined your character instead of diminishing it. That realization has transformed admiration into genuine respect. Now they look toward the future with a different perspective. Instead of wondering whether you are different, they understand why you are. Your uniqueness has never been about standing above others. It has always been about remaining true to yourself when it would have been easier to become someone else. That truth has become the message they carry within their heart, and it is one they will not easily forget. As this story moves forward, an even deeper understanding is beginning to unfold. The journey has never been only about discovering what makes you different. It is about realizing how your quiet influence has changed someone else's life in ways neither of you could fully see before. The next chapter will reveal how that understanding begins to shape the choices that lie ahead, opening a future built not on assumptions, but on clarity, appreciation, and hope. A single realization has the power to change an entire story, and your soulmate has reached that moment. They are no longer searching for answers outside themselves because the answers have quietly appeared within their own heart. Every question they carried about you has slowly been replaced with understanding, and every misunderstanding has begun to fade like morning mist beneath the rising sun. The more they reflect on your journey, the clearer everything becomes. They remember moments that once felt ordinary but now seem extraordinary. They remember the times you encouraged others without expecting recognition. They remember the way you remained calm when circumstances invited frustration. They remember your willingness to forgive, not because it was easy, but because your heart refused to become bitter. Looking back, they now understand that these moments were revealing your true character all along. There was one particular memory that refused to leave their thoughts. It was not the loudest conversation you ever shared. It was not the biggest milestone. It was one quiet moment where you spoke with honesty, kindness, and hope. At the time, they listened without fully appreciating its meaning. Today, those same words echo differently. They have become a reminder that genuine wisdom often arrives softly, leaving its greatest impact long after the conversation has ended. As these reflections continued, another truth emerged. Your soulmate realized that your greatest gift was not trying to impress people. It was making people feel safe to be themselves. In a world where so many wore masks, you offered authenticity. In a world filled with competition, you chose encouragement. In a world that often celebrated appearances, you quietly invested in what truly mattered, the heart. That realization has changed the way they remember every chapter of your story. They no longer see missed opportunities. They see lessons. They no longer focus on unanswered questions. They focus on the qualities that remained constant through every season of your life. Your integrity, your patience, your compassion, and your quiet courage have become impossible to overlook. They now understand why your presence always felt different. It was never because you tried to stand apart. It was because your actions consistently reflected the values you believed in. While circumstances changed around you, your character remained steady. That consistency became your greatest strength, and only now do they fully recognize its significance. With every passing day, admiration continues to grow. It is no longer based on emotion alone. It is built upon respect, trust, and appreciation. They realize that the qualities they once overlooked are the very qualities they now value most deeply. The person they once thought they understood has become someone even more remarkable as each memory gains new meaning. There are moments in life when everything suddenly makes sense. This has become one of those moments. They understand why certain conversations stayed in their heart. They understand why certain memories never disappeared. They understand why thoughts of you continued returning during unexpected moments. Those memories were quietly pointing toward a truth that had been waiting patiently to be discovered. Now they see your story through different eyes. They recognize the strength behind your kindness, the resilience behind your patience, and the hope behind your quiet determination. Every challenge you faced refined your character instead of defining your limits. Every disappointment strengthened your compassion instead of hardening your heart. Those choices created a legacy far greater than either of you realized at the time. As this understanding continues to deepen, your soulmate finds themselves looking ahead instead of looking back. They are no longer asking who you were. They are beginning to appreciate who you have always been. That realization has opened a new chapter filled with gratitude, renewed perspective, and quiet anticipation for what lies ahead. The story is still unfolding. Every new realization reveals another layer of meaning, another reason to appreciate the journey that brought both of you to this moment. What began as curiosity has become understanding. What began as uncertainty has become respect. And what began as a question has become a truth that neither time nor distance can easily erase. Sometimes the greatest discoveries are not found in dramatic moments but in the quiet places of the heart where truth patiently waits to be recognized. That is where your soulmate finds themselves now. They are standing in a place of reflection, looking back over every memory you shared, and realizing that the person they once thought they understood was far more extraordinary than they ever imagined. Every passing day has brought another moment of clarity. They have begun noticing details that once escaped their attention. The way you remained gentle when others became impatient. The way you chose honesty even when silence would have been easier. The way you celebrated the success of others without expecting applause for yourself. These were not ordinary habits. They were reflections of a heart that had been quietly growing stronger through every season of life. One evening, while surrounded by familiar routines, your soulmate paused unexpectedly. Nothing unusual happened around them, yet their thoughts returned to you with remarkable clarity. They remembered a conversation that had once seemed simple. They remembered your words, your calm expression, and the quiet confidence with which you spoke. At that time, they heard those words without fully understanding them. Today, they hear them differently. Every sentence carries a meaning they had completely overlooked. That memory became the beginning of another realization. They finally understood that your greatest quality was never trying to convince people of your worth. Instead, you allowed your actions to reveal your character. You treated people with respect even when they misunderstood you. You continued choosing kindness even when circumstances gave you reasons to become discouraged. Looking back, they realize that true character is revealed not during easy moments, but during difficult ones. That is where your heart shined the brightest. As they reflected more deeply, another pattern emerged. Every meaningful lesson they admired in others somehow reminded them of you. Patience reminded them of your steady spirit. Compassion reminded them of your generous heart. Hope reminded them of the encouragement you quietly shared with those around you. They could no longer separate those qualities from the image they carried of you. The realization became impossible to ignore. What made you different was never something visible on the surface. It was the consistency of your values. Long before anyone noticed your strength, you had already chosen integrity. Long before anyone appreciated your wisdom, you had already chosen humility. Long before anyone recognized your resilience, you had already decided that life's challenges would refine you rather than define you. Those discoveries changed the way your soulmate viewed every chapter of your story. They stopped focusing on moments of uncertainty and began appreciating the courage that carried you through them. They stopped remembering isolated events and started seeing the beautiful thread connecting them all. That thread was your unwavering character, a character that remained steady regardless of circumstances. With each passing reflection, admiration continued to deepen into respect. Respect slowly transformed into gratitude. Gratitude opened the door to understanding. They realized that your presence had quietly influenced their own perspective in ways they had never recognized before. Your calm responses had taught patience. Your honesty had inspired trust. Your hope had quietly encouraged them to believe that genuine goodness still exists. Now they understand that your uniqueness has never been about standing apart from everyone else. It has always been about remaining faithful to your values even when life became uncertain. That quiet faithfulness has become the reason your memory continues growing stronger rather than fading with time. As they look ahead, they no longer wonder whether your journey mattered. They know it did. Every step you took, every lesson you learned, every act of kindness you offered has become part of a story that continues to inspire long after the moments themselves have passed. They understand that your greatest influence was never found in grand gestures. It was found in the countless small choices that reflected the person you truly are. The story has reached a turning point. What began as curiosity has become clarity. What began as assumptions has become appreciation. And what began as an unanswered question has become a lasting truth. Your soulmate finally understands that the qualities which make you different are the very qualities that make your presence unforgettable. That understanding is no longer just a passing thought, it has become a foundation for every chapter that is still waiting to be written.